without a doubt, there are some pretty big shoes to fill over at Nintendo since Saturo Iwata died. He was the CEO for Nintendo for like 13 years, and he was actually the first CEO of Nintendo that was not part of the Yamauchi family, which is the family that founded Nintendo. He was pretty much universally beloved by fans of Nintendo. He said in his mind that he was still a programmer, even though he had become the leader of one of the most successful gaming companies in the world. And in his heart, he was a gamer. In fact, one of his last things that he, well, not last, but one of the things that he did that really made me buy what he was selling, and I'm not talking about the games, I'm talking about his attitude, was that when he was he was in charge of an entire division of Nintendo. He wasn't yet the CEO, and yet when Smash Brothers Melee, which was for the GameCube, or was it for the Wii? It doesn't matter. When one of the Smash Brothers games needed help, he assigned himself to bug test the software, which is ridiculously awesome that the guy loved his job that much. When he died from complications with, I think it was bowel duct surgery, or no, bowel cancer, bile duct surgery. Apparently, Nintendo of Japan appointed Shigeru Miyamoto, who is the creator of Mario and Donkey Kong and Zelda and countless other fantastic games, and Genyo Takeda as co-CEOs of the company until a new CEO could be found. Well, apparently Nintendo has found their next CEO. Today they appointed Tatsumi Kimishima. Hopefully I'm not ruining that name too much. He is the new CEO of Nintendo, and Shigeru Miyamoto his new title is Creative Fellow, which is hilarious because he is a creative fellow. And Genyo Takeda is Technology Fellow. So Tatsumi Kishima, new CEO of Nintendo, he's not from there. They didn't hire from outside. They promoted from within, and he's been a leader in the company since 2002. He actually took over for Minoru Arakawa as president of Nintendo of America. I think it was back in 2002. His background, however, is in banking. He actually worked for 27 years in the banking industry in Japan. That fact, when I read that, made me a little bit nervous at first. It made me think, oh no, they're bringing in a guy here who is going to not understand games and gamers, which is what Saturo Iwata, he was a gamer and he understood these things. And so the idea that a non-gamer is running Nintendo makes people a little bit nervous. But the more I thought about it, I mean, I looked up this guy on Wikipedia, and I think he's already 60 years old. Now, when Iwata was appointed, he was 42. So this makes me think that this guy is here just to keep the ship on course and make sure that Iwata's current plans are able to be put into motion without the company bleeding money. I don't think he's there to set new goals or take the company in a whole new direction. Although, to be fair, when Yamauchi retired, he was in his 70s, so we might see Kimishima for a decade or more. Nobody really knows. I guess what I'm curious about is, should Nintendo go in a new direction? I mean, I love Nintendo games, but their hardware outings in the last few years haven't really hit the mark. I mean, the Wii was successful, but then again, it's because it sold a lot of systems. It had a really low attach rate, I think, for that system. And the games that came out for it were not very good for the most part. Most of the time, I'd say most Wiis collected dust until Nintendo put something new out, and then everybody went out and bought that. As soon as third parties realized that the core gamer was really focusing more on the Xbox and PS3. They kind of abandoned the console, which is a shame. I can't say that I blame them, though. It probably wasn't very easy to port games to a less powerful system that also had a different control scheme. That probably made porting games to the Wii really difficult, and that's why I think that the Wii failed. I unequivocally do say that the Wii failed, even though it is one of the most successful consoles in history, because to me it failed to give gamers what they wanted. Not that it was a bad system, it just isn't what we wanted. At least it wasn't what I wanted. The same thing kind of happened with the Wii U. First off, the general public didn't know it was a new system because of horrible nomenclature. And then second, it was less powerful than the Xbox One or PS4 and had a different control scheme, just like the Wii. So let's look at where Nintendo's had success lately, I guess. Portable gaming. They've had lots of success there. That's a market that's quickly getting eclipsed by mobile phones, though. And Nintendo has already kind of started putting the wheels in motion to put out mobile games. This was announced before Iwata passed. The first of Nintendo mobile games, however, was recently announced. And is actually not a first-party game from Nintendo. It's actually a second-party game through Game Freak. They're a developer that makes games pretty much only for Nintendo platforms up until now. And I don't think that Game Freak would have done this if Nintendo wasn't there to back them. The game that was recently announced is Pokemon Go. It was just announced earlier this was it Friday? I think it was announced on Friday, so a few days ago. And they haven't really shown us how the game looks. They just shown us what the game, like how the game works. And basically, it's geocaching with Pokemon. So you take your cell phone out, and your cell phone says that you have a Pokemon within 15 feet of you or something. And so then you can track down that Pokemon and then try and catch it. Which sounds incredibly cool. It might be one of the coolest ideas for a Pokemon game that has ever happened. So I'm really excited about that game. It'll be really fun to play that game. At least I hope so. If they do it right. Their track record is with online stuff, though. I like the concept. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm very, very curious to see where Game Freak and Nintendo go with that game. Because it's completely out of left field. I was not expecting anything like this as a mobile offering from Nintendo. I guess my main question with the news from Nintendo pushing stuff to mobile and with the appointment of Kimishima, my question is, even though I don't think Kimishima is really here to shake things up, maybe we need somebody to come in and shake things up. It might be good for Nintendo to go in a new direction, because right now they're trailing third, and I think it's hurting them. I don't think that he's going to be the new face of the company, though. It's too difficult to replace Iwata because he's universally loved. I think that mantle is going to be passed to Miyamoto because he is also universally loved. And Kimishima, nothing against him, but nobody really knows who he is. For now, I guess we can look at what Nintendo does over the next few years, and I think we're going to see a lot of Iwata's fingerprints all over everything, because I don't think that they're going to be changing what he was doing or the direction that they were going to begin with. I don't really think we'll see the actual effects of his passing for a while, although it's still sad that he's gone. I guess in closing, Nintendo consoles have always been about some kind of new innovation. So now that Iwata's gone, what's going to happen there? Some people would say it's a gimmick, and those people wouldn't necessarily be wrong, but it was a gimmick that differentiated Nintendo consoles from the competition. So I guess my question to you is, do you think that Nintendo needs to keep moving down that road, or do you think they need to change course and head in a new direction and compete more directly with Microsoft and Sony? Let me know what you think.